What if I told you that for Jefferson Nickel's coins, most people throw in a jar and forget about have been selling at auction for hundreds, even thousands of dollars? And the craziest part, you might have one sitting in your pocket right now. Stay with me for the next 40 minutes, because I'm about to show you the 4 most wanted, most rare, most valuable Jefferson Nickels from 1959, 1968, 1970, and 1971, and what serious collectors are paying for them today. Let's kick it off with the 1959 Jefferson Nickel. Now, on the surface, this looks like any ordinary 5-cent coin, but don't let that fool you. The 1959D full-step specimen, graded MS66 or higher by PCGS or NGC, has hammered at auction for over $1,200 to nearly $2,000. Next up, the 1968 Jefferson Nickel. This is where things get seriously interesting. 1968 marked the return of San Francisco mint coins, with the S mint mark after a gap. But it's the 1968D in superb gem condition that commands the big money. In MS67 full steps, this coin has sold for over $3,000 at auction for a nickel. Collectors prize this date because the strike quality was notoriously inconsistent. Now let's talk about the 1970 Jefferson Nickel, arguably one of the most underrated coins of the entire series. The 1970D full steps in MS66 and above has realized prices between $800 and $2,500 at major auction houses. But here's what makes this coin a sleeper hit among advanced collectors: the population. Reports from PCGS and NGC show only a handful of examples exist at the highest grades. And saving one of the best for last, the 1971 Jefferson Nickel. Now, most people don't know this, but 1971 was the first year the Philadelphia Mint resumed striking nickels without a mint, which creates its own layer of collectability. But the real showstopper is the 1971 S-proof deep Cameo. Coins with their mirror-like fields and frosted, sculpted portraits have sold for staggering premiums when found in perfect PR70 DCAM condition. Beyond proofs, the 1971D in MS67 full steps is a certified rarity, with auction records showing prices well above $1,500 for the right specimen. These for Jefferson Nickels. The 1959, 1968, 1970, and 1971 are not just pocket change. They are legitimate treasures hiding in plain sight. Auction records from Heritage, Stax, Bowers, and great collections prove that the right example in the right grade can turn a 5-cent coin into a 4-figure payday. The key is knowing what to look for: full steps, high grades, pristine luster, and certified holders from PCGS or NGC. Start going through your coin jars, your old rolls, your inherited collections. You might be stunned at what you find. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden value of Jefferson Nickels, hit that like button, subscribe for more rare coin deep dives every week, and drop a comment below. What if I told you that a tiny 5-cent coin sitting forgotten in your grandmother's old change jar could secretly be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars? And most people have absolutely no idea. Welcome back, coin hunters and treasure seekers, to another mind-blowing deep dive into the electrifying world of numismatics. And today, we are cracking open one of the most underrated, underappreciated, and downright explosive coins in all of American coinage history, the legendary 1959 Jefferson Nickel. A coin that looks ordinary on the surface, but hides secrets so stunning that even seasoned collectors have been caught completely off guard. First, let's blast back in time to understand the incredible history behind this coin. The Jefferson Nickel series was first introduced in 1938. Replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel, and was designed by the brilliant Felix Schlag, whose stunning portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the iconic Monticello estate on the reverse became one of the most recognized coin designs in American history. And by 1959, the United States Mint was operating at full throttle, producing Jefferson Nickels at TWO powerhouse facilities. The Philadelphia Mint, which struck a jaw-dropping 27,248,000 nickels with no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which hammered out an absolutely colossal 160,738,240 nickels bearing the bold D mint mark. Yes, you heard that right, over 160 million coins from Denver alone, which makes you wonder, if so many were made, how on earth can any of them be rare? And that, my friends, is where this story gets seriously exciting. Because rarity in the coin world is not just about how many were made, it is about condition, it is about errors, it is about varieties, and it is about the breathtaking combination of factors that transforms an ordinary coin into an absolute treasure. And the 1959 Jefferson Nickel delivers on every single one of those fronts in ways that will make your jaw drop. Let's talk about mint marks first. The presence or absence of a mint mark is one of the first things a sharp-eyed collector examines. And on the 1959 nickel, The D mint mark stamped on the reverse below, Monticello, tells you instantly that your coin came from Denver, while a blank reverse with no mint mark means Philadelphia. And here is where things get spicy. The positioning, the clarity, and the sharpness of that mint mark can dramatically swing the value of your coin, because a boldly struck, perfectly placed D mint mark on a high-grade specimen is the kind of thing that makes collectors reach for their wallets with trembling hands. Now let's dive headfirst into the world of errors. The absolute rock stars of the coin-collecting universe, and the 1959 Jefferson Nickel has some heart-stopping error varieties that have sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. Imagine holding a coin where the die was doubled, a doubled die error, where Jefferson's portrait, the inscriptions, or the details of Monticello appear with a ghostly, dramatic doubling effect that is completely unmistakable to the trained eye. And these doubled die 1959 nickels are so aggressively sought after that when one surfaces at auction in pristine condition, the bidding war that erupts is nothing short of spectacular. Then there are the off-center strike errors, coins where the planchette was not properly aligned in the press, resulting in a bizarrely shifted, wildly off-center image that looks like something went catastrophically wrong at the mint, and collectors love these mistakes because every single one is completely unique. A one-of-a-kind numismatic accident, frozen in metal forever. We also have to talk about die cap errors, lamination errors, where the metal itself peels or flakes in haunting ways. Broad strike errors, where the coin was struck without a collar and spread out like a metallic pancake. And the ultra-rare wrong, planche errors, where a nickel design was accidentally struck on a dime or cent planche coins, so bizarre and so breathtaking that they belong in a museum, and some of them literally do. But errors are just one piece of the rarity puzzle. Varieties are equally explosive. And the 1959 Jefferson Nickel has varieties that have been driving collectors absolutely wild for decades, including subtle but critically important differences in the die used to strike the coin, variations in the depth and sharpness of the steps on Monticello, because here is a secret that separates the rookies from the masters. The full steps designation is one of the most coveted and most valuable attributes a Jefferson Nickel can possess, referring to coins where all 5 or 6 steps leading up to Monticello are fully struck, sharply defined, and completely uninterrupted by marks or weakness. In a 1959 Jefferson Nickel graded MS-65 full steps by PCGS or NGC, the two most respected professional grading services in the world, can sell for prices that will make your eyes water, with auction records showing examples fetching anywhere from several hundred to well over $1,000. A staggering return on a coin that originally cost just 5 cents. Speaking of value, let's break down exactly what your 1959 Jefferson Nickel might be worth, because this is the part everyone has been waiting for in circulated grades. Most 1959 nickels are worth only face value to a few cents above melt, but as condition improves, the value skyrockets in ways that are almost unbelievable. A1959D nickel in MS63 might fetch $5 to $10. But push that grade up to MS65 and you are looking at $30 to $60. And if that MS65 coin has full steps, prepare yourself, because prices can leap to $300, $400, even $500 or more, depending on the strike quality and eye appeal. While the Philadelphia issue in comparable grades commands similar premiums, and when you throw in a verified error or variety, ALL bets are off, because error coins in top condition routinely smash price estimates at major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stax, Bowers, and Great Collections, where passionate collectors battle fiercely to own these metallic miracles. The grading of your coin is absolutely critical, and this is where many beginners make costly, heartbreaking mistakes. A coin that looks uncirculated to the naked eye might have hidden hairlines, contact marks, or strike weakness that drops its several grade points and slashes its value dramatically, which is exactly why serious collectors send their most promising pieces to PCGS or NGC for professional encapsulation and grading, because a certified grade is the gold standard of the hobby, transforming a coin from "I think this might be nice" to "this is officially MS66, full steps, and worth serious money." And that certification can mean the difference between selling a coin for $20 versus $2,000. Now, how do you find these treasure coins? The answer is simpler and more thrilling than you might think. Coin roll hunting is one of the most addictive and rewarding pursuits in the hobby, where collectors order rolls of nickels from their local bank and search through them one by one, heart pounding with every flip. Looking for that elusive pre-1965 silver coin? That dramatic error? That gem quality survivor that somehow made it through decades of circulation, with its beauty miraculously intact? And the 1959 nickel, being over 60 years old now, is increasingly rare to find in circulation. making the discovery of one in exceptional condition feel like striking absolute gold. Estate sales, coin shows, online auctions, flea markets, and inherited collections are also incredible hunting grounds, where jaw-dropping discoveries happen with astonishing regularity. Because countless Americans tucked away coins decades ago, and those hoards are still surfacing today, sometimes containing absolutely pristine 1959 nickels that have been sitting untouched in original rolls since the day they left the mint coins in such breathtaking condition that professional graders practically fall out of their chairs when they open the submission envelope. The collector community surrounding Jefferson Nickels is passionate, knowledgeable, and incredibly welcoming. With dedicated organizations like the Combined Organizations of Numismatic Error Collectors of America, Coneca cataloging and celebrating the spectacular errors and varieties that make coins like the 1959 Jefferson Nickel so endlessly fascinating. And online resources, auction archives, and price guides provide a treasure trove of information that empowers every collector from raw beginner to seasoned expert to make smart, informed, and potentially very profitable decisions about the coins they pursue. So, here is the bottom line, the shocking and undeniable truth about the 1959 Jefferson Nickel. This is a coin that rewards the educated, the observant, and the passionate, a coin that punishes those who dismiss it as just a nickel, while quietly delivering life-changing surprises to those who look closely enough to see what is really there. And whether you are a curious newcomer, just dipping your toes into the incredible world of coin collecting, or a hardened veteran with decades of experience, the 1959 Jefferson Nickel deserves your full attention, because somewhere out there, in a dusty drawer, a forgotten piggy bank, or a cardboard box in someone's attic, a gem qual in full steps example or a dramatic mint error is waiting to be discovered, and it just might be waiting for you. If you found this video valuable, absolutely smash that like button. Subscribe to our channel for more treasure hunting content that could literally change your financial life. Drop a comment below telling us the most valuable coin you have ever found, and share this video with every coin collector you know. Get ready to uncover a coin that millions have seen but almost no one truly understands. Because the 1968 Jefferson Nickel is one of those deceptively ordinary coins that can hide extraordinary secrets. And in this deep dive journey, you're about to discover the shocking truth about its history, its real value, the rare errors that can skyrocket its price into hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and the hidden factors that serious collectors watch, like hawks, when hunting for these coins. So let's start at the beginning. Because the 1968 Jefferson Nickel was minted during a fascinating period in American coinage history. Right after the massive coin shortages of the mid-1960s, when the U.S. Mint removed mint marks from coins between 1965 and 1967 to discourage hoarding. And then in 1968, something changed dramatically. Mint marks returned, and suddenly collectors had a new reason to pay attention again, making the 1968 nickel a transitional and historically significant issue, struck primarily at the Denver Mint and marked with a small d on the obverse just to the right of Jefferson's portrait. While coins from the San Francisco Mint were produced as proof coins with an S mint mark, and right away this creates two distinct categories for collectors: circulation strikes and proofs, and that's where the story starts to get interesting. Because while millions upon millions of these coins were produced, making most of them seem common and almost worthless at first glance, the reality is that condition, rarity, and tiny details can completely transform their value, turning a 5-cent coin into a collector's prize. And that's where the intrigue begins. Because the standard 1968D Jefferson Nickel had a mintage in the hundreds of millions, meaning most examples you find in pocket change are worth only face value or slightly above. But here's the twist that shocks new collectors. If you find one in exceptional condition, especially in mint state grades like MS65, MS66, or even MS67, the value jumps dramatically. Because Hegrid coins from that era are surprisingly scarce due to weak strikes, heavy circulation, and poor handling. So collectors pay a premium for coins that look nearly perfect, with sharp details on Jefferson's hair and the steps of Monticello on the reverse. And those steps are crucial, because one of the most important grading factors for Jefferson Nickels is something called full steps, which refers to the clarity and completeness of the steps on Monticello, and coins with 5 or 6 full steps visible without interruption are incredibly desirable, often commanding prices many times higher than regular examples. And this is where seasoned collectors make their money, by spotting what others overlook. But wait, because it gets even more exciting when we dive into eras and varieties, the hidden goldmine of coin collecting, where a simple minting mistake can turn an ordinary coin into a rare treasure. And the 1968 Jefferson Nickel is no exception, featuring A range of potential errors including doubled dies, repunched, mint marks, off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, die cracks, and even rare transitional anomalies. And among these, doubled die varieties are particularly thrilling, where parts of the design appear doubled due to misalignment during the die creation process, creating a visible and often dramatic doubling effect on letters or numbers. And collectors go crazy for these because they are both rare and visually striking, making them highly desirable in auctions, where prices can climb rapidly depending on the strength of the doubling and the coin's condition. And speaking of auctions, this is where the real action happens, because while average coins might sit unnoticed in jars or drawers, rare and high-grade examples of the 1968 Berg nickel have been known to sell for impressive amounts in online marketplaces and major auction houses, with certified coins graded by professional services attracting the highest bids, especially those with full steps or unique errors. And this brings us to another key factor: authentication and grading. Because in the world of coin collecting, trust is everything. And coins that have been graded and encapsulated by reputable grading companies are far more valuable and easier to sell, giving buyers confidence in their authenticity and condition. And this is why serious collectors often invest in grading for coins they believe might be valuable, turning a raw coin into a certified asset that can be traded globally. But let's not forget the proof coins from San Francisco, because these are a completely different story. Struck with specially polished dies and planchets to create mirror surfaces and frosted details, making them visually stunning and highly collectible. And while many proof coins were saved by collectors from the start, meaning they are more common in high grades, certain varieties and ultra-deep Cameo examples can still command strong premiums, especially when the contrast between the frosted design and the mirrored background is sharp and dramatic, creating a visual effect that collectors absolutely love. And now we come to the human side of this story, the collectors themselves. Because the market for Jefferson nickels is driven by a passionate community of enthusiasts who hunt for these coins in rolls, collections, and estate sales, always searching for that one overlooked gem, that one coin that everyone else missed. And this is where knowledge becomes power, because understanding mint marks, strike quality, luster, and surface preservation can mean the difference between overlooking a treasure and recognizing it instantly. And this is why educational content like this is so valuable, because it opens your eyes to possibilities you never considered before, turning everyday coins into potential opportunities. And now let's talk about rarity in a more precise way. Because while the 1968 nickel is not rare in terms of total mintage, it becomes rare in specific conditions and varieties, especially when you consider the survival rate of high-grade examples, which is much lower than the original mintage numbers suggests, due to decades of wear and damage. And this creates a supply and demand dynamic where top-quality coins are scarce and highly sought after, driving up their value in the marketplace. And this is where the concept of conditional rarity comes into play, a key idea in numismatics that explains why some coins with huge mintages can still be valuable. And finally, let's bring all these elements together into one powerful conclusion. Because the 1968 Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of how something ordinary can become extraordinary when viewed through the lens of knowledge and curiosity, a coin that most people ignore but collectors study intensely, a piece of everyday currency that can hold hidden stories, rare errors, and surprising value. And the next time you come across one of these coins, instead of dismissing it, take a closer look, check the mint mark, examine the steps on Monticello, look for signs of doubling or unusual features, because you never know. That simple nickel in your hand could be worth far more than 5 cents. It could be a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. A small piece of history with a big story to tell, and that's the thrill of coin collecting, the excitement of the hunt, the joy of discovery, and the possibility that treasure might be hiding in plain sight. Asterisk, if you want to sell your 1968 Jefferson nickel and squeeze out the absolute maximum profit, don't rush to sell it blindly, because that's the fastest way to lose money. Instead, start by carefully examining the coin under good light and magnification. Check in the mint mark, look for D or S, the condition, and especially the steps on Monticello, because coins with clear full steps or sharp details can be worth far more than average pieces. And if you notice anything unusual like doubling, off-center design, or strange marks, you might be holding a valuable error coin. So never sell before identifying these key features. Then the next powerful step is to get your coin properly graded by a professional grading service. Because certified coins almost always sell for higher prices since buyers trust them more, and once you know exactly what you have, choose the right selling platform wisely, because not all places pay the same. For example, auction sites like eBay can bring competitive bidding and higher prices if your coin is rare or high-grade. while coin dealers offer quick cash but usually at lower rates. And coin shows or collector groups can sometimes give you the best deals if you find the right buyer. And here's a crucial trick many beginners miss. Always take clear, high-quality photos of both sides of your coin with good lighting, because better presentation attracts serious buyers and increases bids. And never accept the first offer unless you are sure of the value. Compare listings, check recently sold prices, and create urgency in your listing with strong titles like Rare 1968. Jefferson Nickel, full steps high grade to grab attention. And finally, timing matters more than you think. Selling when demand is high or during active auction periods can boost your final price, so be patient, do your research, present your coin professionally, and choose the right marketplace. Because the difference between a rushed sale and a smart sale could turn a simple nickel into a surprisingly profitable deal. What if I told you that a tiny, seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin sitting forgotten in your grandfather's dusty coin jar could secretly be worth thousands of dollars, and most people have absolutely no idea? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are diving deep into one of the most underrated, most misunderstood, and frankly most exciting coins in the entire Jefferson Nickel series. The mind-blowing 1970 Jefferson Nickel, a coin that has stunned collectors, baffled beginners, and sent seasoned numismatists into a complete frenzy at auction houses across the United States. Now, before you even think about skipping this video, let me warn you, by the end of this, you are going to want to rush to your coin collection, tear open every old roll of nickels you own, and examine every single one under a magnifying glass, because what we are about to reveal is nothing short of Let's start with the history. Because to truly understand why the 1970 Jefferson Nickel is such a spectacular find, you need to know where it all began. The Jefferson Nickel series was launched back in 1938 when Felix Schlag's iconic portrait of America's third president, Thomas Jefferson, was selected through a national design competition, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. And this series has been running strong for over 85 years, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American minting history. And by 1970, the United States Mint was operating at full blasts, producing coins at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, stamping out hundreds of millions of nickels to feed the booming economy of a nation deep in the heart of the Vietnam War era. A turbulent, electric, historically charged moment in American history that makes every coin from this period carry a certain raw, undeniable energy that serious collectors absolutely crave. Now here is where things get seriously interesting when we talk about value and rarity. In the world of the 1970 Jefferson Nickel, we are not just talking about one coin, we are talking about a family of coins, each with its own personality, its own story, and its own explosive price potential, depending on condition, mint mark, and variety. The 1970D, struck at the Denver Mint, carries the iconic D Mint mark and was produced in enormous quantities exceeding 515 million pieces, making it common in circulated grades. But, and here is the bombshell, in pristine, uncirculated gem-quality grades like MS66 or higher with full steps designation, meaning the 6 steps of Monticello on the reverse are fully and sharply defined with zero weakness. These coins transform from pocket change into prize specimens that have fetched hundreds and even over $1,000 at major auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers. Because finding a 1970D Jefferson Nickel with full steps in top condition is like finding a diamond hiding inside a coal mine. Statistically brutal and extraordinarily rewarding for the lucky hunter who finds one. Then there is the Philadelphia Mint issue, the 1970 with no mint mark, struck before Philadelphia began adding the P mark in 1980, and this coin, while also produced in massive numbers topping 737 million pieces, follows the exact same jaw-dropping story. In high grades, most circulated examples are worth face value or just cents above it, but a flawlessly struck, blazing white full luster, MS67, full steps example. That is a coin that makes auction room audiences go absolutely silent before erupting into competitive bidding wars. With top examples certified by PCGS or NGC, the two most trusted and respected grading services in the entire hobby, selling for prices that would make your eyes water. But wait, because the real treasure hunters in this hobby are not just chasing mint marks and grades, they are chasing errors and varieties. The spectacular, bizarre, sometimes freakish mistakes that slipped past quality control at the mint and ended up in circulation completely by accident. And the 1970 Jefferson Nickel has some stunning examples that have collectors completely obsessed. We are talking about doubled die-obverse errors, where the hub used to stamp the design struck the coin TWICE at a slightly different angle, creating a ghostly, unmistakable doubling effect visible on Jefferson's eye. The date, or the lettering of "In God We Trust." Find one of these and you are not holding a 5-cent piece anymore. You are holding a legitimate rarity that's certified. Era specialists will pay serious money to add to their collections. Some double-die 1970 nickels have sold for prices ranging from $50 all the way up to several $100s, depending on the prominence of the doubling and the overall condition of the coin, which in the world of era coins is absolutely sensational for a coin that was once just changed. And it does not stop there. Oh no! Because there are also repunched mint mark varieties on the 1970D, where the D-punch was applied to the die, then repositioned and struck again, leaving a secondary ghost image of the mint mark that is clearly visible under magnification. And these RPM varieties are cataloged in the Cherry Picker's Guide, the sacred Bible of variety collectors. And when a sharp-eyed collector cherry-picks one of these from a dealer's bulk bin or a lot of unsearched coins, the thrill is electric. It is the numismatic equivalent of finding a winning lottery ticket hidden in a stack of losing ones. Now, let us talk about proof coins. Because in 1970, the San Francisco Mint produced a stunning, proof version of the Jefferson Nickel, exclusively for collectors, as part of the annual proof set. And these coins struck multiple times on specially prepared polished planchets, using specially polished dies feature mirror-like fields and frosted devices that create a breathtaking cameo contrast effect. And in grades of PR69, Deep Cameo, or the legendary PR70, Deep Cameo, the absolute pinnacle of perfection. These coins are considered among the most gorgeous small coins ever produced by the United States Mint, with flawless examples in the top population reports of PCGS and NGC, commanding premiums that dwarf the face value of the coin by factors of hundreds. We are talking about a 5-cent coin that in perfect proof condition, with perfect cameo contrast, could realistically sell for $200, $300, or even more at a major auction to the right collector. And that is not a typo. That is the shocking reality of the heat-grade coin market, where perfection is everything. Now, how do you identify whether your 1970 Jefferson Nickel might be hiding extraordinary value? First, you must examine the date and motto area under strong magnification. A loop of at least 5x to 10x power is your best friend. Look carefully for any doubling, any ghosting, any secondary images that suggest a double die error. Second, flip the coin over and study those steps on Monticello. Count them, all 6 of them, and check whether the horizontal lines are sharp, complete, and uninterrupted across the entire staircase. Because full steps coins are exponentially rarer than their flat-struck counterparts, and the price difference is absolutely staggering. Third, check the mint mark under magnification for any signs of repunching or tilting that might indicate a listed RPM variety. Fourth, if your coin shows absolutely no, where it has brilliant original luster with no contact marks, bag marks, or cleaning, please do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not even breathe on it too hard. Send it immediately to PCGS or NGC for professional grading, because even a small difference in grade, say MS65 versus MS66, full steps can mean a difference of hundreds of dollars in certified value. And that is a financial reality that every single coin collector needs to burn into their memory forever. The world of coin collecting in 2024 and beyond has never been more exciting. Record-breaking auction results are being shattered constantly. New varieties are being discovered and documented every single year. And the internet has created a global marketplace where a collector in Texas can compete in real time against a collector in Japan for that one perfect, breathtaking, impossible to find 1970 Jefferson Nickel in MS67 full steps. And that level of worldwide demand is driving values upward in ways that would have seemed absolutely unbelievable to collectors just a decade ago. So whether you are a lifelong numismatist with a vault full of certified rarities or a complete beginner who just inherited grandma's old coin collection, the 1970 Jefferson Nickel is a coin that rewards knowledge, punishes ignorance, and has the very real potential to completely transform your understanding of what ordinary pocket change can secretly be worth. So go check those coins. Go search those rolls. Go dig through those old jars and boxers and drawers, because your life-changing find might be sitting right there waiting for you. And when you find it, come back here and tell us in the comments below, because nothing makes this community more electrified than hearing about a real, genuine, spectacular find from a real collector just like you. And if you found this video valuable, smash that like button, subscribe for weekly deep dives into the most fascinating coins in American history, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single shocking discovery, because in the world of rare coins, knowledge is not just power, knowledge is profit, and we are just getting started. Get ready to uncover one of the most overlooked yet shockingly fascinating coins in American numismatic history, the 1971 Jefferson Nickel. a coin that millions have handled without ever realizing the hidden stories, rare varieties, and values that could be sitting quietly in pockets, jars, or old collections right now. Because while at first glance this humble 5-cent piece may seem ordinary, the deeper you go into its history, production quirks, mint marks, collector demand, and era varieties, the more it transforms into a thrilling treasure hunt that has captivated collectors across generations. And today, we are diving deep into every detail, from its origin to its rarest forms, in a way that will not only educate you, but may also change how you look at every nickel you ever find, again. So let's begin with the historical backdrop. The United States was in a period of economic transition, moving away from silver coinage entirely, and the Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938 to honor Thomas Jefferson, had already undergone a wartime composition change in the 1940s, but had returned to its standard composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, making the 1971 issue part of the long-running copper-nickel series that continues today. Yet what makes this year particularly interesting is not its metal, but its massive production numbers combined with subtle variations that only trained eyes can detect, because in 1971, nickels were struck at two major mints, the Philadelphia Mint, which produced coins without a mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which used the D-mint mark, and together they struck hundreds of millions of coins, with Philadelphia producing over 273 million and Denver over 316 million, flooding circulation with what seemed like ordinary change. But hidden within these huge numbers are coins that today can fetch surprising amounts depending on condition, rarity, and errors. And that is where the story becomes electric, because collectors are not just looking for any 1971 nickel, they are hunting for high-grade examples, rare die varieties, and minting errors that can turn a 5-cent coin into something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And one of the most critical factors in determining value is condition, specifically whether the coin is in mint state condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear, and even more importantly, whether it has what collectors call full steps, referring to the sharpness of the steps on Monticello on the reverse side, because coins with clearly defined steps are significantly rarer due to the difficulty of striking that detail perfectly. And such coins can command premium prices at auctions, sometimes reaching hundreds of dollars or more depending on grading. And speaking of grading, professional grading services like PCGS and NGC play a massive role in determining value, assigning grades on a scale from 1 to 70, with anything above MS65 considered highly desirable, and MS67 or higher being exceptionally rare for a coin like the 1971 nickel. And when such high-grade coins appear at auction, they can ignite bidding wars among collectors eager to add pristine examples to their collections. But beyond condition, the real excitement comes from error coins and varieties, because minting errors are like hidden jackpots, accidental mistakes during production that create unique coins. And in the case of the 1971 Jefferson Nickel, several types of errors have been discovered, including doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, and die cracks, each with its own level of rarity and desirability. And among these double die errors are particularly fascinating, where parts of the design appear duplicated due to a misalignment during the die creation process. And while not all 1971 nickels exhibit strong doubling, even subtle examples can attract attention from collectors who specialize in error coins. And then there are off-center strikes, where the coin design is not properly aligned, creating a dramatic and visually striking piece that can be worth significantly more than face value, depending on how off-center it is. And clipped planchet, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a cutting error, are another category that collectors actively seek. And these unusual shapes immediately stand out, making them highly collectible, and die cracks, though more common, can still add interest and value, especially when they create prominent lines or patterns on the coin's surface. But here's where things get even more intense. Auction records reveal that while most 1971 nickels are worth only a few cents to a couple of dollars in circulated condition, exceptional examples have sold for hundreds, and in some cases, nearly $1,000 when graded at the highest levels, especially those with full steps designation. And this is what drives collectors into a frenzy, because the possibility of finding such a coin in everyday change is incredibly thrilling. And the market for these coins is fueled by a combination of nostalgia, historical interest, and the pure excitement of discovery. And if you are wondering how to identify whether your 1971 nickel is valuable, there are several key factors to examine. First, check the mint mark, located to the right of Jefferson's portrait, to determine whether it is from Philadelphia or Denver. Then carefully inspect the coin's surface for any signs of errors or unusual features. using a magnifying glass or loupe to look for doubling, cracks, or other anomalies. And most importantly, examine the reverse side to see if the steps on Monticello are clearly visible and well-defined, because this can significantly impact value. And if you believe you have a high-grade or error coin, it may be worth submitting it to a professional grading service to authenticate and encapsulate it, which can dramatically increase its marketability and price. And when it comes to selling, there are several strategies to maximize your profit, including listing the coin on online marketplaces like eBay, where collectors from around the world can bid on it, or selling through reputable coin dealers or auction houses that specialize in numismatics. And timing can also play a role, as market demand can fluctuate based on trends and collector interest. But perhaps the most important takeaway from all of this is that the 1971 Jefferson Nickel is a perfect example of how something seemingly ordinary can hold extraordinary potential, because hidden within those millions of coins are rare gems waiting to be discovered. And every collector knows that the thrill of the hunt is just as valuable as the coin itself. So the next time you come across a nickel, don't dismiss it as mere pocket change. Take a closer look, because you might just be holding a piece of history with a story to tell and a value far beyond its face. And that is the magic of coin collecting, where every detail matters, every variation counts, and every coin has the potential to surprise you in ways you never imagined. Want to sell your 1971 Jefferson Nickel and get the maximum money possible? Here's exactly what you need to do fast and smart. First, don't rush to sell. Check your coin carefully, look for a demint, mark sharp details, and especially full steps on Monticello. If your coin looks unusually clean or has errors, like doubling or off-center strikes, you could be sitting on serious cash. Next, never clean your coin. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. Instead, get it graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, because a high-grade coin can multiply your profit dramatically. Now when it's time to sell, avoid local quick sales go, where collectors compete. List your coin on eBay with clear, high-quality photos and a strong title, like 1971 Jefferson Nickel, high-grade error coin. You can also sell through trusted coin dealers or major auction houses for rare pieces. Always check sold listings to know the real market price, not just guesses. And here's the secret: patience brings the biggest money. The right buyer will pay far more than a quick sale. Follow these steps, and you won't just sell your coin, you'll unlock its true value.